one of those situations where, you still have to be there, right? So we had a good race, we had decent pace, and, watching Lockie and Simon kind of duke it out, just keep my nose clean, be smart, and it paid off, right? So to get those extra points really helped us, and I think over the course of the last 3 race events, the number 1 car scored the most points. So we're making that last-minute championship run, and you can always turn it around, right?
Toronto's like really cool, man. Like the flight from New York City is about an hour, 15 minutes or so. And it feels like you just kind of did a loop and, landed back in the city. Like it's so similar to New York. You have the people and the fashion and just the general vibe, and the pace is like really cool, and it makes me feel at home here. So it's a lot different from, when you go to places like Ohio and Wisconsin, like, and everything slows down and it gets like really different. Here it's like I can continue at the same pace I've been living at before I get to the racetrack. So,
dude, it's so special. I keep saying this, but I haven't raced at home in like 3 years. So to be back here, like my stomping grounds, lots of friends and family, it holds a special place in my heart, because as soon as we signed the contract last year, this is the date I had circled, and I've been waiting for it for a long time.
So I really like street courses just in general. I think they're very challenging, very different. I like St. Petersburg a lot. I did quite well there. So, and here Toronto, this is my favorite one. It's just, it changes every year, so you have to be very quick to adapt, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. I'm quite good with adapting and doing all that. This year it's a lot different than it was last year. Some parts are a little bit wider with how they put the walls, where the bumps are, so it's just a lot of new stuff to learn, but I like it that way, and so far it's working out pretty well.
It's the closest home race I got. Because being from New York, we had New Jersey, and that was 2 hours, but now it's a little more home being here than it is, at Mid-Ohio or St. Pete or Road America, because that's all like 10-hour drive. I love the city here. It's very fun in a way, and very lively. It reminds me a little bit of home in NYC, except not as inconsiderate.
You never know, how a certain move is going to go until, you get there. You can't predict, how aggressive you can be, how conservative you should be. It's more just situational, everything in the moment. So you just got to get to, each different maneuver and, make it happen. On a street course, like you said, it's the margin for error is a lot smaller though. So you have to be a lot more precise and a lot more confident in what you're going to do, whether it's being conservative or being aggressive. So that's the thing you have to think about when you come to street courses versus road courses.
St. Pete and this track are the only 2 street courses that we do, so it's quite difficult when you have the walls, and especially, this is only being my 2nd street course race in the Pro 2000 car. I had a little bit more experience in the USF, but yeah, Toronto's extremely bumpy, it's extremely aggressive, and it gets quite really tight in some sections, so I'm looking forward to the racing here.
There's little corners everywhere else where if you're way faster than the guy in front, then you can put your nose in there, you can make a send on them. So yeah, I think almost every corner is a pretty decent passing opportunity here. But yeah, it's all about, you just need to be right close to them on their gearbox and make the move.
Welcome back to the streets of Toronto and the Honda Indy Toronto. We get set to go for the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Toronto. It's time to go racing for the first of 4 events on the weekend here for the USF Pro Championships. The Pro 2000 drivers working their way out of turn number 11. Again, on the inside row, outside D Orlando. And we are green, green, green. And the leader row rolls them down. How about 2 wide, maybe 3 wide? Big lockup further back for Kiko Porto. D Orlando trying to find a way by Salvador de Alba, who are in a bit of a defensive line down into turn number 3. You can do that, but if the driver gets the big draft, it could potentially go around the outside of you.
So far going just about as well as it could be for Miles Rowe. He's pulled out about a half a second lead. In fact, now closer to a second on Salvador de Alba, and then Michael de Orlando in 3rd.
Contact in turn number 5. Caution is out. Red flag being shown here. Red flag. So our drivers will be brought back to pit lane. Normally when we decide to go to rain tires, will give the drivers 5 minutes. How about a 4-lap dash here in USF Pro 2000? Rowe, the Orlando, De Alba, Grand Force in Denmark, the entire field of 17 cars remaining on track, outfitted with the Cooper wet tires. First time into turn 1, an exploratory mission for the young American Miles Rowe. One driver spinning already, coming out of turn number 8. We're gone, and we are green flag racing. Green, green, green! Back at it here in Toronto. They're into 5th. Here's your first rundown. Rowe overcooks it. Rowe overcooks it into turn number 1. The point leader has gone off the racetrack. He locks it into reverse, trying to pull back. Michael D'Orlando, the leader. Michael D'Orlando will win in Toronto.
It was mayhem. I mean, because like you would miss the concrete and everything, and you still like wouldn't have a lot of grip. And when you were on the concrete, there was absolutely no grip at all. Like it was like concrete was essentially ice in the rain. So like everyone was going wide, cutting back in and stuff. I mean, there's people going everywhere. I flew off the track from first and had to like reverse, and you know, I ended up finishing 7th. I know, like, I saw my teammates spin in front of me. Like, I saw like a couple other people like spin. I saw a few people in the wall. I mean, like, it was just chaotic out there.
Wet tires, drying conditions. This one's going to be a barn burner in USF 2000. They'll spool them up down into turn number 1, and we are green, green, green. The lack of spray, I think Todd is showing us exactly what we've got here right now. There isn't a lot of moisture, not a lot of collective moisture on the racetrack, and we got to move for the lead already down to the bottom of the racetrack. Into the inside, Nikita Johnson, book it, he's through. Damage for the number 67 of Elliot Cox. Right front damage, he'll go off the racetrack, he's lost his wing. Here comes the full course yellow. And Cuban, what do you think? Do we see somebody to pit lane?
Here we go.
Everybody's coming to pit lane, unless you're the leader. Sykes into pit lane. Garciarsis, Clark, Adams, Towns, Scully. It's tough for the leader to pull into the pits, but man, I just got to feel like, let's say we go clean and green to the end of this one here. Those guys are toast out there with the wets.
And that's the thing, you have to make the move now. If you don't make the move in this lap, you lose your time, and if it's not under yellow, you lose time. You have to make it early.
We're going back to green. We're already racing. Coming to the halfway point of this race right now, and Nico Christodoulou, the driver on the move, as he's trying to work his way to P1 to see if he can't get a win here in his debut in turn number 3. Who's it going to be? Down to the bottom of the racetrack. Sykes goes around the outside. He's going to, I think, take second away. Christodoulou, though, holding on to the spot. Sykes goes to P2. Second place finish would be enough here as he goes, I believe, potentially to the inside. He may have the lead. Sykes, I think, goes to P1, and he's going to bring Clark with him. Indeed, he is. Simon Sykes goes to the lead. He is P1 right now. Garcia bump drafted Adams all the way down the straightaway into turn number 3. Hold your breath, folks. Are coming to the inside. And Garcia all the way to second as Clark has to check up. Garcia, Clark's going to go back to P5. This opening lap back has been hectic. Oh, what a final lap out of the corner, though. How big is it for this young driver? It's going to be a Pabst Racing 1-2, but Simon Sykes is going to win here in Toronto.
When it comes down to the wire here in these last few events, so really it's all about just recalibrating yourself, just relax and take a deep breath and go back to just focusing on those little, every lap, just focus on that. Focus on just every race. You don't necessarily need to focus on the big championship at the very end. Just focus on doing your best every race out there, and then the championship will come.